Today we are going to start with chapter number 3. Never eat more than one thing. कभी आपको एक से ज़्यादा चीज़ों को नहीं खाना चाहिए. ठीक है? Let's start with the chapter. I caught a sight of her at the play and in answer to her beckoning, I went over during the interval and sat down beside her. वो कहता है कि वो इंटरवल में गया और मैं उसके पीछे बैठ गया. It was long since I had last seen her, and if someone had not mentioned her name, I hardly think I would have recognized her. She addressed me brightly. उसने मैंने उसको रिकॉग्नाइज करा और उसने भी मेरे को क्या करा, एड्रेस करा है बहुत ही अच्छे. Well, it's many years since we first met. How time does fly, where none of us getting any younger. Do you remember the first time I saw you? You asked me to lunch on. Did I remember? ठीक है, वो कहते कि बहुत टाइम की बात हो गई जब हम पहली बार मिले थे. ठीक है, जब मैंने तुम्हें देखा था, आई हैव आस्क्ड यू टू लंच ऑन एंड डिड आई रिमेंबर. ठीक है, क्या तुम रिमेंबर करते हो? It was 20 years ago and I was living in Paris. I had a tiny apartment in Latin Quarter overlooking a cemetery and I was earning barely enough money to keep the body and soul together. ठीक है, 20 years ago की पहले की बात है. मैं पेरिस में रह रहा था, टिनी अपार्टमेंट जिसका नाम था लैटिन क्वार्टर. ठीक है, overlooking a cemetery and I was earning barely enough money to keep body and soul together. मैं पैसे कमा रहा था कि मैं बॉडी और सोल दोनों जगह रख सकता हूँ, इन जगह रख सकता हूँ. She had read a book of mine and had written to me about it. I answered, thanking her, and presently I received from her another letter saying she was passing through Paris and would like to have a chat with me. But her time was limited and the only free movement she had on the following Thursday. She was spending the morning at the Luxembourg and would I give her a little luncheon at 40 hours. Forts afterwards. Forts is a restaurant at which a French senators eat and it was so far beyond my means that I never enough thought of going there. ठीक है, मैं उसको लंच के लिए बोलता हूँ. ठीक है, हम स्पेंड करते, वो कहाँ स्पेंड करते हैं मॉर्निंग. ठीक है, कहाँ? लक्समबर्ग में. एंड आई गिव हर अ लिटिल luncheon. ठीक है, लंच के लिए कहते हैं. और कहाँ? फोर्ट. फोर्ट्स क्या था? एक रेस्टोरेंट था जहाँ पे आपके फ्रेंच के जो सीनेटर्स वगैरह थे वो वहाँ पे लंच कर. ठीक है, और वो भी कहता है कि मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि मैं यहाँ पे जाऊँगा. बट आई वॉज फ्लैटर्ड एंड आई वॉज टू यंग टू हैव लर्न टू से नो टू वुमेन. आई हैड 18 फ्रांस मतलब गोल्ड फ्रांसेस टू लास्ट मी एट द रेस्ट ऑफ द मंथ एंड मॉडेस्ट लंच ऑन शुड नॉट कॉस्ट मोर देन 15. वो कह रहा था क्योंकि लास्ट मंथ चल रहा था, मेरे पे 80 फ्रांस थे, मतलब गोल्ड के जो फ्रेंड्स थे वो कहते थे 80 थे. ठीक है, क्योंकि वो लास्ट टाइम चल रहा था. और वो कहता है कि जो लंच है उसको वो कॉस्ट मोर देन 15. इफ आई कट ऑफ कॉफी फॉर द नेक्स्ट 2 weeks आई कुड मैनेज वेल इनफ. वो कहता है कि अगर मैं कॉफी को काट दूँ नेक्स्ट वीक के लिए, नेक्स्ट 2 weeks के लिए, तो मैं क्या करूँगा, मैनेज कर लूँगा. आई आंसर दैट आई वुड मीट माई फ्रेंड बाय कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट at Foyers on Thursday at 12:30. She was not so young as I accepted and in appearance imposing rather than attractive. कि वो इतनी यंग नहीं थे तब मैं सोच रहा था, लेकिन उसका अपीयरेंस था वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा क्या था, अट्रैक्टिव था. ठीक है. She was in fact a woman for 40 and she gave me the impression of having more teeth, white and large, and even then they are necessary for any practical purpose. ठीक है, वो ओल्ड थी तो उसने मुझे ऐसे एक स्माइल होती है वो necessary for the practical work. She was talkative, but since she seemed inclined to talk about me, I was prepared to be an attentive listener. और मैंने कैसे pretend करा कि मैं बहुत ही क्या हूँ, attentive, मतलब बहुत ही मैं उसकी बातें कर रहा हूँ, बहुत ही attention से सुन रहा हूँ. I was stirred when the bill of fare was brought forth, and the prices were a great deal higher than had anticipated. But she reassured me. I never eat anything for luncheon, she said. Oh, don't say that, I answered generously. वो कहते कि नहीं मैं कुछ खाऊंगी नहीं. और वो कहता है, वो आंसर देता है generously कि oh, don't say that, कि तुम ऐसा मत बोलो. I never eat more than one thing. I think people eat far too much nowadays. Little fish, perhaps I wonder if they had any salmon. कि मैं एक से ज़्यादा चीज़ें नहीं खाती, अगर इनके पास salmon होगा तो मैं वो हाँ खा सकती हूँ. Well, it was early in the year for salmon and it was not the bill of fare, but I asked the waiter if there was any. Yes, beautiful salmon had come in. It was the first they had. I ordered it for my guest. The waiter asked her if she would have something while it was being cooked. No, she answered, I never ate more than one. Unless you had a little caviar, I never mind caviar. वो कहती नहीं नहीं मैं एक से ज़्यादा नहीं खाती तो डोंट माइंड. ठीक है, उसने आंसर भी कहा कि अगर जब तक वो कुक हो रहा है तुम और कुछ खाना है तो खा लो. वो कहती नहीं नहीं मैं एक से अलावा कुछ चीज़ नहीं खाती. My heart sank a little. I knew I could not afford caviar, but I could not very well tell her that. I told the waiter by all the means to bring caviar. For myself, I chose cheapest dish on the menu, and that was mutton chop. ठीक है, वो कहते थे कि मेरा, क्योंकि मुझे पता था कि मैं इतना अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन वो तब भी उससे बोल देता है और अपने लिए वो एक चीपेस्ट डिश को जो मेन्यू में थी जिसका नाम था मटन चॉप, उसको वो ऑर्डर करता है. I think you are unwise to eat meat, she said. I don't know how you can accept to work after eating heavy things like chop. I do not believe in overloading my stomach. ठीक है, कहती कि तुम कैसे वर्क कर लोगे, मैं एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पा रही इतना हैवी खाना खाने के बाद तुम वर्क कैसे कर लोगे. ठीक है, आई डोंट बिलीव इन ओवरलोडिंग माई स्टमक. कहते मैं अपने स्टमक को ओवरलोड करने में बिलीव नहीं हूँ. Then came the question of drink. I never drink anything on lunch on, she said. Neither do I answered promptly. वो कहते कि मैं कुछ ड्रिंक नहीं करती जब मैं लंच करती हूँ. तो वो कहता है नीदर डू आई, ना मैं करता. देखिए वो प्रॉम्प्टली आंसर देता है. एक्सेप्ट वाइट वाइन, शी प्रोसीडेड थॉट, एंड आई हैड नॉट स्पोकन. द फ्रेंच वाइट वाइन्स आर सो लाइट, दे आर वंडरफुल फॉर द डाइजेशन. वो कहते हैं कि जो फ्रेंच की जो वाइट वाइन्स है वो बहुत ही क्या होती हैं, लाइट होती हैं, वो डाइजेशन के लिए क्या होती है, अच्छी होती हैं. वॉट वुड यू लाइक, आई आस्क्ड हॉस्पिटेबल स्टिल. शी गिव मी अ ब्राइट एंड फ्रेंडली फ्लैश ऑफर वाइट टी. वो कुछ नहीं करती, सर सिंपल सी क्या करती, सिंपल सा हंसी देती है, स्माइल देती है और शांत हो जाती है. माई डॉक्टर वॉन्ट लेट मी ड्रिंक एनीथिंग बट champagne. I fancy I turn a triple pale. I order half a bottle. I mentioned casually that my doctor has absolutely forbidden me to drink champagne. वो कहते हैं कि मेरे डॉक्टर ने मना करा है champagne को. What are you going to drink then? Water. She ate the caviar and she ate the salmon. She talked daily of an art and literature and movie, but I wondered that the bill would come too. When my mutton chop arrived, she took me quite seriously to task. ठीक है, वो किसका इंतजार हुआ था, बिल का इंतजार हुआ था. और जैसे ही वो कहता है कि मेरा चिकन चॉप अराइव्ड, शी टुक मी क्वाइट सीरियस. आई सी दैट यू आर इन द हैबिट ऑफ ईटिंग हेवी लंच ऑन. आई एम श्योर इट्स अ मिस्टेक. Why don't you follow my example and just eat one thing? I'm sure you will feel ever so much better for it. कि अगर तुम एक चीज खाओगे तो आपको ज़्यादा बेटर लगेगा. क्या आप मेरी, क्या वो कहती है कि मेरे जो मैं आपको एग्जाम्पल दूँ उसको अगर आप फॉलो करोगे. I am going to eat one thing. I said the waiter came again and the bill of it. ठीक है, I am only going to eat one thing. कहते नहीं मैं खाली एक चीज खाऊंगी. ठीक है, I said the waiter come again with the bill of beer. और किसका इंतजार हुआ था, बिल का इंतजार. She waved him aside with an airy gesture. No, I never eat anything for lunch on, just a bite. I never want more than that. I eat that more as an excuse for conversation that anything else. I could possibly eat anything more unless they had some of those giant asparagus. I should be sorry to leave Paris without having some of them. ठीक है, वो कहते ठीक है तो ज़्यादा नहीं होती, कम होता है. और अब I should be sorry to leave Paris without having some of them. My heart sank. I had seen them in the shops and I knew that they are horribly expensive. My mouth had often watered at the sight of them. वो कहता कि मुझे पता तो था कि बहुत महंगे, लेकिन मेरे मुंह में भी क्या आ गया था, पानी आ गया. Madam, want to know if you have any of those giant? I asked the waiter. I tried it all my might to well him to say no. A happy smile spread over his broad, rice-like face. He assured me that they have some so large and splendid, so tender, that it was one. ठीक है, वो क्या करता था कि मैं चाह रहा था कि वो क्या करते हैं, मना कर. ठीक है, क्योंकि उसके पास इतने पैसे नहीं थे. I am not in the least hungry, my guest sighed, but if you insist, I don't mind having some asparagus. I ordered them. Are not you going to have any? No, I never eat. वो कहता है कि नहीं मैं कभी इसको eat नहीं करता, मैं इसे नहीं खाता. I know there are people who do not like them. The fact is, you ruin your palate. All the meat you eat. We waited for an asparagus to cook. Panic seized me. It was not a question. Know how much money I should have left over for rest of my month, but whether I had enough to pay the bill. It would be mortifying to find myself 10 cents short and be allowed to borrow from my guest. ठीक है, वो कहते कि जो नहीं होगा मैं क्या करूँगा, borrow कर लूँ. I could not bring myself to that. I know exactly how much I had, and if the bill come to more, I made up my mind that I put my hand in my pocket and with a dramatic cry start up say that it have me spent. ठीक है, वो कह रहा है कि अगर ज़्यादा नहीं होगा मेरे पॉकेट में तो मैं ऐसी पॉकेट में हाथ डाल के ड्रामा करूँगा, मतलब वो क्या होगा, चोर होगा मेरे. Of course, it would be awkward if she had not money enough either to pay the bill. Then the only thing would be to leave my watch and say I would come back and pay it. ठीक है, कि अगर नहीं होगा तो मैं अपनी वॉच को छोड़ जाऊंगा, उनसे क्या दूंगा कि I will pay later. The asparagus appeared. They were enormous, slant and appleating. I watched the movement thrust that down her throat in large mouthfuls, and in my polite way, I discoursed on the condition of the drama in banquet. At last, she finished. Coffee, I said. Yes, just an ice cream and coffee, she answered. वो कहता coffee, I said. इससे कहता yes, just an ice cream or a coffee, she answered. I was fast carrying on, so I gave the following order: coffee for myself, and ice cream and coffee for her. Coffee तो उसने अपने आप अपने लिए करी और ice cream और coffee उसके लिए order. You know, these one thing I thoroughly believe in, she said. As she ate the ice cream, one should always get up a meal feeling one could eat little more. Are you still angry? I asked faintly. Are you still hungry? Oh no, I'm not hungry. You see, I don't eat lunch on. I have a cup of coffee in the morning and the dinner, but I never eat more than one thing or lunch on. I was speaking cold. Oh, I see. Then a terrible thing happened. While we are waiting for a coffee, the head waiter came up bearing a large basket full of peaches. They had the blush of an ocean girl. They had rich tone of an Italian landscape. But surely, peaches were not in the season then. Lord knew that they cost, I knew too. A little later for my guest, going on with her conversation, absent-mindedly took one. You see, you will fill your stomach with lot of meat, my one miserable little chop, and you cannot eat more. But I just have a snack and I enjoy a pea. वो कहते हैं कि नहीं, I will just have the snack or I will enjoy the pea. The bill came and I had paid. I found that I have only enough for a quite inadequate tip. Her eyes rested for an instant on the 3 francs I left for the waiter, and I knew that she thought me mean. But when I walked out of the restaurant, I had whole month before and not a tanning my paw. Follow my example, she said as she shook hands, and never eat more than one thing or for lunch. और उससे वो यही कहते थे कि एक से ज़्यादा चीज़ हमें लंच में नहीं खानी चाहिए, वो खा भी इतना सारा दिन. ठीक है, I will do better than I rooted. I eat nothing for a dinner tonight. Humorous, she cried gaily, jumping in a cab. You are quite humorous, but I have had my revenge at last. I am not a vindictive man, but when the goat punishes someone, it's commendable to observe the result in compliance. Today, she weighed 21 stone. because उसको क्या है 21 stone है उसको. ठीक है, that's all for today. Hope you understood the chapter. Thank you.